Hey guys, it's JP, and this time we are going to talk about tendon problems around the knee and how you can address them so you can continue running. The reason I want to go over this is because when people typically think about tendons, we tend to think more about the Achilles tendon. But how about the tendons around the knee? The one that we will be focusing on in particular is the patellar tendon. This tendon attaches from the kneecap to the top of the shin bone, more specifically the tibial tubercle. This tendon is responsible for helping absorb forces as the foot hits the ground and helps generate forces around the knee when you're pushing through the ground to move forward as you run. As I mentioned before, there are a lot of forces that are involved in running. While this tendon typically has the capacity to handle a tremendous amount of force, it may get irritated if the amount of loads placed on it exceeds its ability to adapt and recover. When this tendon first gets irritated, you may incorporate relative, not complete, rest. This includes decreasing your running mileage as well as relative intensity of the runs. However, eventually you will want to build up the strength in the tendon to handle the demands of running. While strengthening the tendon sounds like a good idea, you may not be able to load it hard enough to get that stimulus for that due to pain or irritability. If that is the case, you can incorporate exercises that simply load the area less with the intention of improving tolerance to these forces. By building tolerance and decreasing irritability of the patellar tendon, you may get to the point where you can start to work it hard enough to get the sufficient stimulus and cause adaptations to strengthen that tendon and improve your running performance. Now that we covered that, let's go over some exercises you can try to build tolerance to loading the patellar tendon. The first exercise we will go over is the wall sit heel taps. This is a simple exercise to more specifically load up the knee with minimal equipment. All you really need to do here is to find a wall, lower down to a point that makes the exercise feel challenging but not too painful around the knee, and just alternate tapping your heel out. This is a great one because it restricts the amount of variability that can occur, as this can cause compensatory strategies. For example, a common compensation to offload the knee is leaning forward from the trunk, which puts more of the load into the hip rather than the knee itself. By keeping the back on the wall, this prevents this from occurring. If you do want to make this harder, you can simply go lower toward a 90-degree angle as shown, or progress to just lifting and holding the foot out instead. The next exercise I will show you guys is the lateral toe tap. The emphasis here is working on control around the hip, trunk, and core region while building tolerance to loading around the knee region. To do this one, you basically bend the knees and hips slightly, then gently lift and tap your foot out sideways. While doing this, try to keep your hips and shoulders level. This is a great way to work on decreasing irritability around the knee region on the stance leg, while addressing other important aspects to work on like the lumbopelvic hip control. The last exercise I will show you guys in this video is the plank with knee taps. This is another great place to start when beginning to build tolerance to loading the patellar tendon. This typically works the core, but this variation incorporates quad and patellar loading as well. Again, similar to the last one, even though you may not be able to work the knee area hard, this does not give the excuse of keeping it easy on other areas of the body. And those are some exercises you can try. I'd love to hear your thoughts as well as any questions you may have. Next week, I will go over the next stage where you're at the point that you can tolerate loads through the knee much better and want to begin strengthening the patellar tendon to build capacity and prepare for the demands of running. Remember that this is for educational purposes only and does not serve as medical advice. Anyway, let me know what your thoughts are as well as any questions you may have. And as always, thank you for watching.